Hello and welcome. My name is Gerd Mellak from SEOleverage.com. This is episode 20 of our SEO podcast. And today it's a real honor for me to welcome serial entrepreneur, coach, bestselling author Allan Dib to the show. Welcome, Allan.
Hey, Gert, it's a pleasure to be on. How are you?
Very good. I'm so happy to finally have you on the podcast here as well. We have been working together quite a while. I've been working with your team on SEO.
You have.
I had the pleasure to meet you in person in Sydney at James Franco's event last year, which was great.
Yes.
So I assume many of our listeners are already going to know your work for the one-page marketing plan. But for those who don't, could you give us a little bit of a backstory about your background, where you come from, how did you become the specialist on marketing plans and business coaching, and where did it start?
Yeah, look, I started my business life just as a dead broke IT geek. Just struggled with marketing and struggled with getting clients in the door. And so I spent about a decade just with trial and error with marketing. I attended every conference, I read every book. I really struggled. And then I came across direct response marketing, which I learned at a very deep level. And long story short, I built a couple of successful tech companies. We built them from zero, and then we grew them to be national businesses and exited them. I did very well from those, and then I started coaching people on their own marketing. And one of the things that I wanted people to do was to create a marketing plan for their business because it had been something that was instrumental for me. And I got a lot of pushback. People were saying too hard, too difficult, need to get a consultant, not sure where to start. And so I created a process called the one-page marketing plan, which in about 30 minutes, somebody could put together a very detailed direct response marketing plan for their business. And so it worked very, very well. We had a lot of clients starting to use it. And then a few years ago, I wrote a book because I wanted to get that process out to a much bigger audience. And the book has received a lot of good feedback. A lot of people who never, ever had a marketing plan before in their business now have a detailed direct response marketing plan, which is helping them get new clients, new leads, and new prospects. So I'm very privileged to help people every single day with their marketing and really get clarity around their marketing.
I think that's really something noteworthy here. And I remember even before we started working together and we got to know each other a little bit better, I already had read your book. I already was using your marketing plan essentially for clients of ours. So we had a local marketing agency, did lead generation for them, etc. And many people were essentially just um, shooting wherever they could with a little bit of Facebook, a
Mm,
little bit of ads, a little bit of
yeah.
this, a little bit of that, no real plan. And the first thing
Yes.
I would put out was a copy of your marketing plan, essentially, and say, okay, let's structure things a little bit into the different squares we're going to talk about afterwards, just to make sure that everything we do goes in line with what we actually need to do to have a strategic growth. So I think something I noticed that you're especially good at is breaking really complex things down into simple terms. And I think the book is definitely one of the best examples. When people think about a marketing plan, they probably have like a mental image of a thick binder that probably
Yes.
takes months to put together, and then probably gets stored somewhere and never gets opened again. And it's like a static thing, like a business plan you have to write if you want to request some funds or something like this when you start a business.
Yes.
And it just sits around. But this is really an actionable document, and I have this on a spreadsheet here on my computer for my own business, where I go back to it and read it and extend it once in a while and say, okay, now let's find a better way of lead nurturing, maybe find a different medium. We just have Clubhouse as a new medium that could potentially be added there,
Hmm.
etc. So it's a really dynamic document, and I would appreciate if you could walk our listeners a little bit through the overall process. How is it possible that we can do this in 30 minutes? Such a complex project. How is this broken down?
Yeah, you're 100% right. In my first business, when I was trying to put together a business plan, I spent months with a consultant, and I spent thousands of dollars putting together a plan. And then it was this big, thick document, which really wasn't practical. And so the whole idea of the one-page marketing plan is that it's something that's practical, something that you can literally have sitting on your desk or pinned up on your wall or whatever, and you can update it easily at any time when you have better and more information. And so if you visualize a single page split up into 9 squares, that's essentially the one-page marketing plan. And so there's 3 sets of 3 squares, and I'm sure we can link to a copy of
Yeah, absolutely.
the document here so that people can see that. But visually, if you imagine three squares, then another 3, then another 3, that's essentially the one-page marketing plan. It's split up into before, during, and after phase. So 3 major phases of the marketing process. So that's essentially the one-page marketing plan. So there are 9 blocks in total. And once you've filled in the 9 blocks, you're going to have a very comprehensive direct response marketing plan. And so the first block starts with target market. So who is our ideal prospect? And we can get into each of these or some of these in a little bit more detail. But first of all, it's we select our target market. Then what message, the second block is what message are we going to send to that target market? The third block is about what media are we going to use to reach that target market? Then we go into the during phase. So the during phase is when someone already knows that we exist, they've put their hand up. Then it's the fourth block is lead capture. Then the fifth block is lead nurturing. Finally, the sixth block is sales conversion. And then we go into the after phase. So someone's a client. And so then we want to deliver a world-class experience. That's the seventh. The eighth block is upselling and increasing customer lifetime value. And the ninth block is orchestrating and stimulating referrals. So we go through the entire life cycle of a customer. So going from before they even know that you exist, right through to becoming a raving fan and a client who's referring new business to you on an ongoing basis.
I think this is such a great overview. Before, during, after. This is also something that impacts when at ACO Leverage, we do a keyword research, for example, for clients. We say, okay, what are the keywords they might be typing into a search engine before they actually become clients, where they essentially are top of funnel. They just want to inquire. I want to purchase a car, but it might be next year, it might be the year afterwards, but I'm still already searching, but my search is going to be vastly different from when I'm about to purchase actually, or I have been on the mailing list on some car retailer already, or car brand, have done a test drive, etc. Exactly. They send me the lead nurturing sequences and stuff like that. So it's definitely also from SEO important to structure the approach a little bit and say, okay, we don't want to only cater to one of these phases. Obviously, everybody wants to rank for the transactional terms where someone is about to purchase. But it's not that easy. The decision process, as we see it, is very often a long one. I remember we have a client in the office refurbishment business industry, for example, where someone might request a quote without even having purchased the property, but they already want to know what this is going to cost, etc. So they're probably 2 years away or 1 year away from actually becoming a client. But this doesn't mean I can start the sequence really when they are already ready to purchase, because I need to grab their catch their attention early enough, right? So you need to cater to all these phases. You can't really skip one, right?
Absolutely. It's absolutely essential, because a lot of people feel like you've got to close the sale today. Someone's interested today, or they're a tire kicker. And here's what we know. We know that a very small percentage, about 3% of your ideal target market is ready to buy today, and everybody's fighting for that 3%. That's what the Facebook ads you're running are for. That's what the people are cold calling for, the people who are ready to buy today. And that's fine. Of course we want to connect with people who are ready to buy today, but there's a much larger audience who are ready to buy sometime in the future. So maybe in 30 days, maybe in 60 days, maybe in 90 days, maybe in a year. And your car analogy is exactly right. I mean, if you walk on to a car dealership, they're like, okay, what can we do to get you in a car today, right? And then if you walk away, it's like, okay, that they feel like the deal is lost or whatever. And I'm in the same situation as you. I'm waiting for a couple of electric cars to come out before I make my decision on my next car. And so I'm following them on Instagram. I'm on the mailing list. Whenever, and I'm looking at this type of electric car. What's the range? What's the speed? All of that sort of stuff. So I'm kind of like I think what Google calls in market sort of thing,
Exactly, yeah.
right? I'm going to make a purchasing decision on a car, maybe even two cars in the next 9 months or so. So now would be a really, really good time for someone who's selling electric cars to be connecting with me on a regular basis. So I'm not going to buy one today or tomorrow. And very few people wake up in the morning and say, I think I want to buy a new car today, right? So they think about that purchase for some time. And if you sell anything of value, that's probably true as well for you as well. Like people don't wake up one morning and say, I need business coaching or I need SEO or something like that. They've been thinking about it. Maybe their friend has mentioned it. Maybe they've seen it working well somewhere. And over time, it's a slower burn. But if we can engage with those people who we know are going to make a purchasing decision sometime in the future, and that time in the future might be a far time in the future, or might be a shorter time in the future. I had a client who signed up for my high-level coaching program, and I asked how long he's been on my mailing list, and he said for 2 years, right? So if 2 years ago I thought, no, this guy, he's not interested or whatever, that would have been a missed opportunity. And I would say the vast majority of people who buy something from me, and I probably who buy from you too, have been thinking about that for a long time, have been thinking,
Absolutely.
I really need to improve my SEO. I need to get my rank on Google better, or I need to fix my marketing. I need a marketing plan or something like that. So we want to engage with some of those people before they make a purchasing decision.
It's so true. I would probably argue the 3% for SEO at least, which is the industry I control more than the coaching industry. At 3% is high. I think
Yeah.
hardly anybody is really ready to buy when they search for the first time. It's just so trust based. So I wouldn't even expect someone who hasn't been referred by someone else to
Mm.
purchase after they find us, because they really need to establish this trust relationship. And I can fully understand this. There are many SEO agencies out there. Many have been burned by others that don't really care about their results, don't really engage, are not transparent about what they're doing, etc. So we hear a lot of horror stories out there. So I can relate to people or have empathy for people who don't trust or take action on or hire another agency right off the bat. Which is why we essentially try to lead with as much content on podcast, on YouTube, on the blog, etc. as possible, just so people really know what they're essentially buying. We just put up demo videos of our audits, Erica consulting, etc. Just really to slowly give them a chance to build this trust relationship. I always think about those people on the mailing list that never answer, never engage, etc. There's probably still a reason why they don't cancel, right? They can cancel the
Absolutely.
subscription on every email, but I say, okay, I might not be ready, but I still want to kind of be informed by this guy, and maybe at some point I'm ready and I'm going to take action. So the lead nurturing is really extremely important. We very often work with affiliates as well, and it's interesting, affiliates. And I think this is shifting, at least this year. It started last year. I think it's shifting a lot, where affiliates were traditionally looking for a website without a brand, just something to get a quick affiliate link as soon as possible, get an Amazon cookie placed, etc., not worrying about anything else. And I was just talking the other day to an affiliate and said, okay, your main goal can't be for people to leave your site as early as possible. So because he had like his affiliate link right at the top, there was no way of missing it. This was
Yeah.
obviously from a conversion point of view, nice, but I would much rather be the reference site or the reference brand for future searches and bring those people back with remarketing campaign, with other queries, with this after section essentially of your marketing plan.
Yeah.
Okay, even
Yeah.
if they have found a product through my website and I get my affiliate commission, I still want to have those people back. So what we essentially do, it's not even SEO, but we suggest people to really start building their mailing list, place their opt-ins well, make sure they convert. A conversion is not only an affiliate click, it's also even better sometimes getting those people on a mailing list and being able to send them more affiliate deals in the future.
I think that's very smart because I mean, affiliates, when you think about it, yes, there are people who just want to make a quick win and all of that, but I think those days are over. Really, the affiliates who are doing very well, and if you look at some of the big affiliate sites like Wirecutter, they're really in the business of curation and creating reviews and all of that sort of thing. So adding a lot of value where it's more than just kind of placing your link or your cookie somewhere. So the smart affiliates are building their own audience and building their own influence.
Absolutely, we're seeing this as well. And I think Google is doing a very good job right now filtering out the low quality affiliates. We have seen two really strong updates: the May core update in Google, the December core update in Google. We are really like anonymous affiliates essentially lost a lot of traction. And if they were really honest checking out their site, they didn't really deserve the traffic they got. So
Yes.
I even had one client come to me. He just purchased an affiliate site, and I was like, I was telling him, you're in a really risky position. And
Yeah.
essentially a week afterwards, he lost 85% of his traffic because
Yeah.
Google hit an update, and you could see that the site didn't deserve what they got. And this was just
Yes.
one of the last loopholes Google had open for those people. Right now, if you want to have been a successful affiliate, you need to focus on branding, at least from an SEO point of view. You need to focus on branding. You need to say who you are. You need to show who is behind this site. You need to provide ways to contact you, ask questions, get in touch with you, really provide value as much as possible, be up to date, etc. Google closed a lot of loopholes, and I think the affiliate game is going to change a lot this year and has changed already drastically.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because I mean, Google really care about people having a really good experience. And if you're continually clicking on links that are crappy or full of spam or whatever, it's not going to be long before you look at other search engines. And so Google is very aware that there's a very low, in fact, almost no cost of switching for their main product that generates almost all of their revenue. So they're very vested in making sure that people get a great experience online. So they're going to prioritize people who are building their brand, building their audience, adding a lot of value, rather than people who are just after the quick win or the cookie or the affiliate link or whatever.
Absolutely, 100%. I want to talk a little bit more about this during phase. We talked about getting people to the email list. We talked about lead capturing. We want to capture those leads, those email addresses. We want to nurture them. How can you get someone from a nurturing sequence to becoming a sales conversion?
So really what we want to do in the nurturing phase is two major things. So we want to educate our client or our prospect, and we want to demonstrate trust and authority. So why do we want a better educated client? Because in almost anything that you offer, a better educated prospect is a better prospect. So, if a prospect asks no questions, then they're probably not a good prospect, and they're probably not going to buy from you. So, um, a, we want our prospects to be better educated. And if we're the ones who are providing education, and if you think about it, who do we normally take education from? We take education from teachers, from doctors, so people who are trusted in our lives. And so if you can be someone who is taking people through the buying journey, through the buying cycle, through education. And it's not just about, hey, I'm awesome and buy my stuff and all of that sort of thing. It's about taking them through a journey and helping them. So the best way to a lot of people are trying to convince other people that they can help them. But I think the best way to convince someone that you can help them is to actually help them, right? So demonstrate that you can help them by actually helping them first. So help them get some kind of small result. So if I'm in the market for electric cars, which I am, I'm looking at a whole different bunch of factors. I'm looking at speed. I'm looking at build quality. I'm looking at acceleration. I'm looking at range and all of this sort of thing. So if you can create a guide where you can guide me through some of that buying process and teach me some of the things that I don't even know. Like I don't. The thing that scares me when I buy something expensive is, like, I think to myself, what don't I know? What questions am I not asking? Right?
Right.
Because the things okay, you can compare speed, you can compare all of this, but what are the things that I actually don't really know and that I'm going to find out after the purchase and might be a bad surprise, right? So if you can guide me through that process and help me understand things at a deeper level, then I'm going to be a much better prospect. The only time that you don't want a better educated prospect is if you're really selling something that's bad for the customer, and then you don't want them to know more about it. But I would suggest you don't want to be in a business like that, right?
Probably we ignore those businesses for now, at least. Yeah. Um,
Yes.
I think it's really funny because this is just something I might have been influenced really subconsciously by your book, maybe, but it's something I was always trying on. I don't really call prospect calls sales calls or anything. It's just really an information call. People want to get to know me, want to talk to
Yeah.
me, see if I can help. And I always pull up a couple of tools before I go onto a call and find one or two things I can tell those people. So
Yeah.
when I can show them, look, this is a weak point from your competitor side, you could leverage, and you could just tomorrow create an optimized article targeting this keyword they are not really exploring really well, for example. These are really quick wins, and I can automatically see how a conversation shifts from someone who is not really sure if I'm just another SEO agency, another SEO consultant they can really trust, from to a way where they say, okay, yeah, this guy really knows and how to help me in particular. They not just using automated software, but they really take a look at my competitors. They really have an idea what I'm trying to achieve. This completely changes the game. We had just a conversation with someone from the golf industry, for example, where we just went on the call through a few keywords the competitor was ranking for. And I was like, yeah, look,
Mm.
here and there on these 5 keywords, they're not doing a very good job. Is this something you want to sell? Yes, this is something you want to sell. So let's go after those keywords first. Let's put a strategy around trying to target for these keywords and related keywords. So this was on the call even before they purchased. And this is something that really turns a conversation around. So whatever value you can give, whatever you can show, that you can really help them, and actually helping them even
Yep.
before they take action has definitely been a secret for us that's working really well and turning conversations completely around.
It really makes a huge difference. And I've seen, and most of the time, someone will see what you're doing and see that there's a lot of depth to it, and they'll say, "Okay, look, just do it for me." So I saw this done really well with one of the landing page software. They kept releasing review videos of the best converting landing pages, and they would say this landing page converts really well because of this. It's got a double opt-in or whatever, or this color or whatever, and then they would say, "Okay, to create this landing page, use this HTML, then upload it to your web host and all of this." And like, it's a lot of technical and a lot of work. And then they would say, or sign up for our landing page software, and in 2 clicks, you can create this landing page instantly. And so, of
Right.
course, most people will see that there's value. They'll say, wow, I want a high converting landing page like this, but I don't want to go through all of this difficult technical work that I don't really understand. For $47 a month, I can do it with 2 clicks. And so they created a huge business just from that strategy.
Yeah, but it goes exactly back to what you said before, where you say you educate the prospect, educating the prospect. And I think this is a misconception, or something many people get wrong, and especially in my industry, where they think you can't talk about SEO because you're giving something away. You're
Yes,
educating a prospect and then offering them an easier way to achieve these things. So they now fully understand what is involved, but they can then decide to hand this over to you. We have very often it happens where we on our Erica consulting, we make sure our clients know exactly what are the steps, what is the status, what are the next steps we recommend, why do we recommend focus on these steps. So we kind of do some hand holding and walk everybody through our thought process and our reasoning. But very often then a client at the end of the conversation might say, yeah, I know I can now build those 10 articles, but can you build them for me? Can you build them for me with
exactly.
an updated version, and can you have them published on our website and send me the links, right? And
That's
this is
exactly right.
essentially an additional service. They are happy they can outsource this service. They are happy because they are educated and can hand this task now over because they know what it involves. They know don't want to do this, or don't have time to do this, or don't have the capabilities, but they know exactly what they are purchasing. So back to your card, they know the questions, or they know what they didn't know, and can then make an informed decision, right?
Exactly. 100% right.
Awesome. That's definitely our experience, and has been working really, really well. And I think it's for both sides. It's have, right? You can have a sales conversation where it's like, okay, my prospect doesn't really have an idea, they're still purchasing, and you walk away from the conversation and say, yeah, we're going to provide this service, but they don't really know what we're really doing. They had, for some whatever reason, they purchased. Or you walk away from a conversation and say, okay, they exactly understood what is the situation, why this is important, why they need to invest there, what this is going to do for them, make an educated decision, and then everybody's happy after a conversation.
And I
um,
think it's just a much easier way to sell. Like trying to convince someone to take a risk on you is much harder than just showing them or helping them in advance. A lot of the times, just showing them or doing something for them ahead of time is just quicker and easier than trying to convince them that you're really awesome at what you do, right?
I've had absolutely. I've had a conversation this morning, which the other party thought it was a sales call. For me, it was just a conversation to connect, to really to
Yeah.
connect with other business owners and see what they're up to. And at the end of the conversation, they literally said to me, "Look, I really appreciate this wasn't you didn't pitch us, but we're
Yeah.
still going to get your services." But in no moment did I ask them to buy from me. Did I tell them
Yep.
exactly what I think they should be doing, etc.? We just had a conversation. I told them what other clients might be doing in the situation, how we work with other teams, etc. And this was a normal conversation. So I would be very surprised if they wouldn't jump on our offer, because they were really appreciating the education they got. We had an hour and a half long call, which was scheduled originally for 30 minutes, I think, but we had a great time. Got to connect to two business owners in a marketing niche, which was great. And I'm definitely sure we're going to do business together at some point. Might be today, might be in 2 months, but we have really established a really good long-term relationship. So this was definitely worthwhile, and I think should be the focus on most conversations, really.
That's it. Yeah. And it's just taking the long view in mind. A lot of business owners just take the short-term view. And I think that doesn't work as well as it used to. So yes, you can create buying pressure, and yes, sometimes that might work, but it's going to create a lower quality client. It's going to create buying remorse. So you really want people who are going to have a great experience, because if you've got uh, people who maybe you've pressured into the close or buy or whatever, or tricked them or whatever, now it's very difficult to get away with that, because you're going to get bad reviews, you're going to get refund requests, all sorts of things. So selling ethically is not just something that you should do, but it's good business. It's because people come back, people refer. I can't tell you how many times that people have referred another colleague, and then that colleague's referred somebody else. So one client is worth more than one client to me because of the way I do business. One client is worth maybe 3 clients, 5 clients to me. So it's a much better way of doing business.
Absolutely, and it certainly helps if you don't need the sale, right? If you're in a position where
Yes.
say, I'm having a working business, I could grow. I don't have to grow right now. I could grow maybe in
Yeah.
2 months. You don't have to do the sale, have to get the sale. It's just a much more relaxed position. And if you have this long-term view, which is probably something that should be like in a business owner entrepreneur one-on-one, you cannot do business if you can't think long-term. I think this would have been really helpful for me 10 years ago. It took a while to work my head around this. I think this is definitely going to be much better. I want to be conscious of your time. I just want to ask one more question before we wrap this up. When it comes to the after phase, and you talk about how to deliver a world-class experience. And I think this is something I'm constantly working on. We constantly fine-tune the Erica Consulting. We created an application. We created a dashboard for our clients where they essentially see what is happening with their SEO. They have all the tasks lined up, can communicate, etc. So we do a lot of product development. We really try to, are improving the service, or try everything to make it better, react to every single feedback we receive, because this might be something other clients might be thinking as well. How do you have a process? How can people refine their product? How can people make sure they deliver a better and better experience?
Yeah, so I, there's a few things. So first of all, it comes back to your target market. Who are you going to be targeting? So being very, very specific. So who are going to be my people? So thinking of yourself as the person who's curating knowledge and education and services for your people. A lot of people do this backwards. They think, I've got this stuff, I sell this, and now I need to find people for my stuff. I prefer a different approach where we we find out who our people are and then give them the stuff that they actually want.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, having your target market is so important. That's why it's a foundation. It's one of the first steps in the one-page marketing plan. The next thing is being a voice of value to your tribe. So people will tolerate a lot of things, but they won't tolerate being bored. So even if you do something serious, and SEO is serious, and what I do from a marketing perspective is serious in people's businesses, but if you can do it in a way that's entertaining, that's going to connect with them. So like, I get newsletters from my lawyer, and it's the most boring thing you could ever see. The subject line is always something like March 21, 2021 newsletter. And then it's like he talks about legal jargon and everything. And even though I like this guy, I just can't read this stuff. It's just so boring. But if he presented something that was an interesting, a bit of a story, maybe a case study or something like that, I would be much more engaged. So if we can engage with our audience as a voice of value, someone who gives them, I like to think of it as infotainment. So yes, we want to inform them, but and entertain them at the same time. I think that's very, very valuable. I like thinking about that velvet rope experience. So what's that VIP experience that we can give them that they really go, wow. So when someone says something is remarkable, they literally remark on it. So, and they'll remark on it to people, to other people. So that's really what I want people to do, to think about how can I create those remarkable wow experiences. And you can only really do that if you're serving a specific audience. If you're doing everything for everybody, it's very hard to create that wow experience because everybody wants something different. So you need to know who your audience really is.
Absolutely, it's a absolutely great point. Yeah, great point. I'm going to revise our sequences we send out after this call. Yeah, thank you so much. I think we've learned a lot. I want to summarize. We have this before, during, and after phase. We want to make sure we know who our target market is. We want to know the message, how we can communicate this message. We want to know what happens when they're already on our mailing list. How do we get them on the mailing list? How can we nurture them? How can we send? What can we send to them that's, as you were just saying, engaging? That is creating trust via education, essentially. So at some point when they are ready, we don't want to push it. When they are ready, they can make a purchase decision. And obviously it doesn't stop there. We have this after phase, after the purchase. One client is not one client, as you were saying. I think this is going to be on our show notes here. Every client, and this is also based on my own experience in the last 20 years of SEO. There's probably a few key people that have been referring us, other people that have then referred us, other people, etc. Just because they got great results. So the better the results are you can get for someone, the happier they are with the way you do business with them, the more business they are going to bring in afterwards, the more your referrals you're going to get. So this after phase, and especially when it comes to affiliates, for example, they also probably would be advised well to really think about this phase after they click. What happens after this person left my page because they headed over to Amazon to purchase this product, then because they got the information on our page? How can we get them back? Can we do a remarketing campaign? Can we do get them on the mailing list? Can we create really a brand that's going to bring them back again and again? So we become essentially their reference for this product segment or this industry we represent as an affiliate, because we just have much better product information than Amazon, for example, or we have better reviews. We have all the unboxing videos they're searching for, selected, curated, prepared, etc. So I think there's a lot of value for all kinds of businesses to apply this one-page marketing plan to their business. If someone wants to learn more about this, I know your book is available on Amazon. I just purchased another version, so I have it on my Kindle, so I have to remember it well. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, best way is on my website, successwise.com. You can download a free copy of the one-page marketing plan canvas. The book is also available on Audible. A lot of people, it's very, very popular on audio, and obviously people are listening right now, so it's on audible.com. Yeah, and I'd love to enter the conversation and have people who've maybe never considered doing a marketing plan before to do one, because like I said, you can do it literally in one page, 30 minutes, you can get it done, and you're going to have a solid one-page marketing plan for your business. And then when you work with someone like you for SEO, you know who your target market is, you know what your message is, and so you can do that at a much higher level.
Absolutely necessary. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you took the time for this recording. Allan Dib from successwise.com. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Gert. It was a pleasure to be on.
Thank you. If you're listening to this is episode 20. Head over to seoleverage.com/podcast. Find episode number 20. We're going to link to successwise.com and the one-page marketing plan canvas, where you can get it, download it, fill it in 30 minutes. I've done this myself multiple times for my own businesses, profit centers, and clients as well. This really works, and it helps structuring ideas, structuring the marketing plan, and it can structure your SEO approach, your target plan, essentially content map, whatever it is. If you want advice and help from an SEO perspective, get in touch with me on seoleverage.com. Thank you so much for listening. This was episode 20. Thank you.